Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to our international press review here on France 24. Today, Richard Thompson is here. Richard, I take it Annapolis and the Middle Eastern peace process must be dominating the papers.
Yes, it is the big one today. Of course, yeah, obviously the launch of these new talks between Israel and the Palestinians. And we've got a range of views, Israeli, Arab and the US. So let's start with the Jerusalem Post, the English language daily. It's got an interesting analysis by journalist David Horowitz, headline "Going for Broke." He says the event was very much summed up by the Saudi Foreign Minister, Prince Saud Al Faisal, who told him this is a good start if it can lead to a good end. So it's seeing it for perhaps what it is, a beginning. And it's not surprising that the paper echoes the views of the Israeli government that the mere attendance of countries like Lebanon, Syria, Saudi Arabia marks a kind of turning point, not just for the talks, but in taking a stand against extremism.
Any contrasting views?
Yes, indeed. In Lebanon, L'Orient Le Jour, the headline there, Bush's dream. An Israeli-Palestinian peace at the end of 2008. And the editorial, though, it's not convinced at all. It uses a sort of showbiz metaphor. It says, despite an impressive cast of supporting players, the countries which turned, meaning the countries which turned up, it was let down by the casting of the three main actors, namely Bush, Abbas, and Olmert, who it brands a trio of losers. It doesn't mince his words at all. It says the US president has notched up failure after failure in the US. Abbas has no credibility after what's happened in Gaza, and so it's not seeing much to celebrate. And it also refers to the much-typed presence of Syria and Iran and says they sent second-rate diplomats. And the New York Times is a bit more balanced in its approach. It takes a step back and tries to put this in context. It says the unspoken goal of the conference was to stop the rising regional influence of Iran and Islamic radicalism. Despite the widespread skepticism over the possibility of a final agreement, many Sunni Arabs are actually relieved this is going on.
It's really fascinating that L'Orient Le Jour in Lebanon is so condemning of the conference, so condemning of the three main people involved. It's very interesting.
That's right. It's the strongest view from Lebanon there.
Okay, the riots in France, obviously important stuff. I see it's on the Herald Tribune, but obviously all over the French papers, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course the riots have calmed a bit, but it's still a big story.
Still a big issue. Sarkozy meeting today with ministers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and the most striking front page belongs to Le Figaro. You can see it there. Headline: Faced with the rioters, the police bring out the big guns. And inside an equally striking editorial, it's basically saying this is not a social phenomenon the experts are making out. Controversial view. There it says this is two teenagers who died in a tragic accident. It says several hundred individuals have used it to justify their criminal behaviour, and now we've got this cycle of blame of the government, the media, etc. And the Le Figaro says, let's stop talking about the suburbs. They're not all in a state of decay. And
Herald Tribune is saying that it's a lot worse. I think there's a kind of a
you can see the
strand
contrast
of society in France which kind of trivialises this sort of thing. But obviously, what we're seeing here is that it's a lot deeper than people would like to admit. Yeah,
and the international media are maybe a bit more pointed in their view of it. They don't pull any punches, whereas here, Le Figaro's obviously.
Okay, Richard, we've run out of time, I'm afraid. Obviously, a lot of things to deal with there, very, very meaty issues, and obviously you've given us a really sort of a good view of how internationally people are looking at some very important stories, obviously. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Stay with us. You're with France 24.